Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So this is another beautiful episode with the Sheikh Alaa Elsayed, Jazakallah Khair, and Family Matters. And we are honored really to have you with us on Muslim Do application in this Ramadan program. You highlighted, we were talking about the secrets of the special way or special understanding for the languages between males and females, or men and women. As we were highlighting the concept of the computer theory, how to seek the success in a very solid, real, genuine, authentic, let's say, relation between husband and wife in family matters. So you gave an idea about, for example, globally speaking, financial situation is the biggest problem. North America, for Muslims, you said mother-in-law, which means of course, sister-in-law as well, because it's a dual problem. Mother-in-law, sister-in-law, they can't understand the cultural background. So now we were listening to different other, we need to highlight more secrets and advices about how to have this kind of solid relation between husband and wife.
Absolutely. And now to pick up where we left off, understanding the fact that we are different, we also have to understand that this is a good thing. Yeah. It's not a bad thing. Because if everybody has the same exact thing, it will be boring.
Yeah.
So indeed, it's challenging, and that's why Dr. Nabulsi Hafidullah says, when you get married, it's your jihad.
Subhanallah.
And it is, and that's like there's no, smooth. No, as I said, no smooth sailing here, and expect that, and that's fine, and that's normal. So you don't like stumble over a first hurdle. Always look for solutions. Think on a positive. Look for something that okay, this is. I look for excuses, and there are filters theory that we hopefully can address. There's a lot of things to be covered, but inshallah we will do our best to cover as much as we can. So when it comes to the physical aspect, as we said, that number 2 reason for divorce, I recommend for the brothers and sisters not to take this lightly, because as I said, number 2 reason for it, and the high percentage of men, the 89% of men, they get married specifically for that. So please make sure that you understand that you look after one another. And this is something that I tell the brothers. There's something called the North Pole and the South Pole. Women are emotional, so if you want to be physical with her, you have to go on her emotional side. And it's the same thing for the sister. It says if you want your husband to be emotional, you have to go on his physical side. So you have to understand the differences. So once, most women think that the way to the man's heart is through his stomach. Well, according to statistics, is not. It's through something else. So if you really want to have the man in your heart, look after that. It's extremely important for them, even though it may not, for them it's trivial, and they will think, how shallow are men, how, we're deep, we're thinking about love, emotions, and all of that stuff. And we were discussing earlier, that you were teaching us, may Allah bless you, Doc. Love comes after marriage, not before marriage. It's before that is infatuation, it's lust, it's whims and desires. But true love is when you go through difficulties and you're still holding together. You go through all the things that we were discussing earlier and you're still holding on. And that's really what it is. It's more than that. As a matter of fact, Allah actually doesn't mention mahabba here. He says mawadda.
Yes.
It's not just built on love.
MashaAllah, I wanted to ask you about what do you think about it? Why the Quran mentioned mawadda, mawaddatan, and rahmah?
Of course.
And did not mention love, even though most of the time, we are discussing love. What do you what do you say about this?
It's a fallacy, and I think we've been watching too many Bollywood movies, and
yes.
The Cinderella stories, and the guy comes on a white horse in slow motion, and with a 6-pack, and the hair flying in the air, and the birds are chirping, and the lion dances behind him, and all of that stuff. They're running to the desert, and it's the same story.
Yes.
And they read certain things, and they live the fantasy, and that's all they want. They want that fantasy, but they don't get the real thing. And even if you even discuss things, if I may, the audacity to say, even with all due respect to everybody, even pornography is not real.
Yes.
You understand? It's a huge problem with marriage couple because of what happened before and what happens after, and the expectations, and the self-destructive, the not having self-respect, looking at women in a different manner. You actually get discouraged yourself that you're not. A lot of things that the misconception of what we are getting from the social media and the expectations of the society that tell us what to do, what not to do, is fallacy. So the same thing we're talking about here, it is not exactly what we think. That's why Allah says mawadda. Mawadda is gentle, active, forbearing, gentle, kind, love, compassionate love. So it's not just love. Allah would have said وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَحَبَّةً, but He said mawadda.
Mawadda.
Yeah. So mawadda and rahmah is simple. We said that in the beginning of the marriage you have to have this mawadda, this love and compassion. You're investing in your love because you lovey-dovey. In the end, after a long, healthy, righteous life, you're going to get on each other's nerves. So you have to have rahmah, mercy upon one another. So when it comes to rights and duties, we can explain it more. But now when it comes to secrets, is when we talk about these issues that are extremely important for us to be able to look at after one another. I look at her emotional side, and he looks after my physical side by giving before getting. And I'll share with you a story that I've heard. A woman will not give you back what you give her. She will multiply whatever you give her, and she gives you back. When we're talking about intimate relations, in your contribution in this intimate relation is very little. But after 9 months, by the blessing of Allah, by His will, she gives you a baby.
Yeah.
You give her groceries she turns it into a beautiful home cooked meal.
Yes.
You give her a house, she turns it into a home.
Yes.
You give her a hard time.
No
Exactly.
comment. Okay.
I rest my case.
Okay.
So I tell the brothers, do not complain about what you're getting. Just concentrate on what you're giving.
What you're giving. Yeah.
And that is actually one of the aspects of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. Nisa'akum harthul lakum, as I alluded to earlier. Because of that aspect, the harth here is mawdu' al-nasl, and that beautiful intimate relations and so on. We learn a lot from that as secrets. One, when the brother plants the seed, you say Bismillah, and you have patience to see the fruit. That beautiful tree is your wife. You become a gardener. A smart gardener turns the desert into an oasis.
Yes.
The more you invest in the garden, it will flourish and bloom. Will give back. If not, it'll be barren. Will give you nothing back. It's yours. It's your job to make sure.
Yeah.
And then you have the Quran and Sunnah to make sure that that tree is solid, not wavering. La ifrat wa la tafrit, not one extreme or the other. And no uprooting of that if there's a high winds, meaning fitna, test in this life. Trimming the branches by your akhlaq, your character, how you deal with her, a role model for her. Then the fruit has come to your progeny and your lineage will come through that. Now understanding that fact is extremely important. Now when we talk about other examples that are mentioned in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنَّ, a garment. And we why the garment? The garments, there's too many reasons. But of course, we learned from our teachers that it's the closest thing to your skin.
Closest, yes.
Yes, so it protects you from the heat of the sun and the cold of the winter. So you're supposed to protect one another, not harm one another.
Yes.
لا ضرر ولا ضرار.
Subhanallah.
And then it keeps your secrets. So whatever happens in Vegas stays in whatever you are. Yeah. And also it beautifies you.
Yes.
It's a simple fact that you get dressed to beautify yourself. So you don't fish for fault. You don't look for. You look for it like a mir'ah to correct one another in the best manner. You understand? So there are so many aspects of that. We are in the garments of one another, and that intimate relations. All these things that come into the aspect of it. Also, we'll maybe continue next time because I understand the time is very limited, but inshallah this is extremely important for us to be able to address it, and hopefully we can talk about some more valuable secrets in the next episode. Inshallah.
Excellent, inshallah. So really, we are educating us in an amazing way. Maybe we'll highlight another secrets, and we will come back again to highlight the theory of the boat, the theory of the castle as well, in terms of the conflict to complete or compete, and the sail, which is La ilaha illallah, and the boat, which is basically the carrier that should take us as a family into the Jannah, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, Brother Sheikh Alaa Elsayed in Family Matters. You are most welcome. Thank you very much for being a very valuable guest for Muslim Dua application in Ramadan. Jazakallah khair.
Pleasure, thank you.